The following program is sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.
Welcome to Building Wisconsin. I'm Stuart Keith, and on today's show, well, we're learning more about Camp American Legion here in Wisconsin's Great North Woods. So let's get started with Terry Magowan from the Wisconsin Operating Engineers. Terry, another beautiful day here in the North Woods of Wisconsin, and we're at Camp American Legion. Looks like a lot of operating engineers doing a lot of good work here today.
There's a lot of good work going on right now, Stu, and the good part about it is these are all veterans coming through our apprenticeship program who came up here to help.
And being veterans, I mean, they're really near and dear to not only your heart, but all of your members, because there are a lot of similarities, a lot of strong ties between the military veterans and the ops.
Yes, there is, because they're around heavy equipment. It's a good, easy transition, Stu. Not only that, but out of the 40 apprentices that we've got that are veterans, out of 500 apprentices, they also know how to follow orders, take direction, get up in the morning and show up for work, and they're very attentive to the needs of people on the crew.
Boy, that sounds like the perfect apprentice when you talk about new recruits.
They make great recruits, and I say recruits after they've already volunteered.
Sure. Okay, so this facility, we're not talking just 10 or 20 acres here in the North Woods. I mean, this is more like 400 acres?
And the thing is, there always was a nature trail coming through here, but with today's warfare, a lot more veterans are coming back with missing limbs, and they find themselves in wheelchairs or special accessories needed.
Sure.
So we made this wheelchair accessible trail for them with volunteers from our apprenticeship program, J.I. Case, Miller Bradford, Matthew Construction, and James Peterson, just a couple of our road builders and equipment dealers.
All donating their manpower, all donating the funds and the equipment necessary to create new trails for the veterans?
We pulled this whole team together, and everybody's doing what's right for our veterans.
Boy, I'd say it's right, that's for sure. And what I'm anxious about today is I have the opportunity to catch up with not only the people, but the different members out here, the different staff, and then to learn more about the equipment and what it takes to build a road through a beautiful North Woods like this. So what I want to do, Terry, I want to catch up with some of these people now, but I'll catch up with you a little bit later in the show.
Please go meet them, Stu. I can't wait for your audience to see these people. They're great people, and they're all volunteers, and they're doing really good service for our veterans.
Wow, Dan, I just love being on the front lines here of a road construction project. 30 yards over, they haven't even cleared anything. Right behind us, we have a dozer in action and making pathways for our veterans. I mean, there is a lot of different equipment going on here.
There's a lot going on here, and like you said, you're starting from ground zero. Over here, we have a CTL Case TV380. That's the largest track machine that Case has. That's going in. It's got a grapple bucket on it right now. Guys went ahead of that, clearing brush with a chainsaw, doing a lot of handwork. That's going to stack up the material. Some of the bigger material, the CX210 excavator is going to grab that. It's got a hydraulic thumb, so it acts like your thumb like that. It'll grab 8-foot sections of trees and stack them up one by one. And I know that it's going to be handy here at American Camp Legion, because what do you do at nighttime in Wisconsin in the North Woods?
You have a fire.
You have a fire, you have a cookout. So he'll push the shrubbery up, he'll grab the big stuff, stack it up. This is a 45,000 pound excavator. can do a lot of big work. You can see it's pulling some pretty big material up here that's going to then be used for the K750 dozer here to help build the road bed. Going to bring up some good rock for some road bed, also bring up some more material, some more sand. You can see it went from scrub brush, timber, jack pines, to now where we see a fresh road bed, and then way behind that's another dozer and a paver, and there's going to be asphalt millings coming up here, and you're going to see a road here within a matter of a week.
Sure, and that's just a small sampling of the different equipment here. I saw road graders here, I saw some pavers, I saw all the different stuff, the dump trucks that are bringing it. There's just so many different pieces of equipment that it takes to build a road, not to mention all the manpower and experience to run it all.
It takes a lot of machines, and it's not just the machines. These machines are being run by skilled operators. As you saw me explain about the excavator there, it's your hand, it's your thumb.
Sure.
For you and I, it's easy to think we can do that with our thumb, but that is an extension of him that's 20 feet out from him. That takes a very skilled operator to be able to do that 20 feet away on a different slope when he's got the machine pitched and he's trying to dig from a bank. That takes a very skilled operator.
Well, and we're so fortunate here in Wisconsin to have the skilled workforce that we have, the operating engineers that are working around our state, but the operating engineers that are getting the hands-on experience here are all veterans in one way, shape, or form.
Correct. I talked to them this morning, all the different branches. We had Navy, we had Army, Marines, Air Force, all the different branches, and I actually joked with them. I said, at nighttime when you guys are done in the day and eating dinner, I bet you there's a little jostling back and forth amongst the different branches. So these guys learned a lot of good skill sets when they were working for us in the armed forces, doing the best and bravest that our country gets from them. Then they come back and work with operating engineers, and when they're done here, they're going to be on Highway 51, Highway 8, building our roads, building our projects across the state. So their skill set is second to none.
And you know, obviously we're up here at Camp American Legion, and what I'm getting the feel for is we can't do enough for the veterans. I mean, they have given us so much in their lives.
Correct.
This is just a small token of appreciation, but they genuinely love being able to work on a project like this because it's not only for their benefit, but all the veterans that are able to use this facility.
I couldn't agree with you more, Stu. They are the best and brightest that this country has to offer, and to support them, not only support them as operating engineers and giving them this project, but giving it back to the vets that come here from Camp Legion. Like I said, I have to pause because it means so much to give back to these vets. Like you said, they've given so much for us as Americans, and it's up to us as people, as business owners, as organizations to give back to them so they have something, whether it be a job with the operating engineers, whether it be a recreation for Camp Legion or anything in between there. We've got to take care of them.
Sure. Well, it's awesome that your company, you're representing Case, you're at the Miller Bradford Company, family-owned business,
Yep.
Wisconsin roots, and the military aspect is very near and dear to you as well.
Very near. I mean, every branch that we have employees at, we have a service member as a team member at Miller Bradford. We try to employ as many veterans as we can because, like I said, they come back with a skill set that an employer is wanting to have.
And that's resonating throughout this show. With their military training, they are perfectly suited for heavy machinery, to take orders, to do a bang-up job, and most importantly, to take pride in what they do.
Lots of pride. And just chatting with these guys this morning, you could see it.
And to have the opportunity to train at Coloma, but then to come here and to get real-world experience from ground zero moving forward, it's got to be an experience that's second to none.
It's experience second to none, and I'm very proud to be able to be associated in a small part with it.
Well, Dan, I really appreciate you coming on today's show and greatly appreciate what Miller Bradford and Case is providing for these vets.
It's been my pleasure.
You know, Tom, I love seeing heavy equipment in operation, but seldom have I seen one coming through virgin soil in the North Woods. It's awesome to see, and it's really a testament to the operating engineers and all their partners in this project, of which you're one of them. You're with Matthew Construction, and what is their role here?
Yes, I am with Matthew Construction, and we are glad to be here helping with the operators and getting these trails built for our veterans. Supporting the veterans is a big part of our company philosophy, and working with our operators makes it that much more enjoyable to do. And our role here today is we're donating what we call the asphalt millings that are being trucked in to be placed on these pathways for the veterans to use.
And now when you say millings, this is what you're talking about?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And what are millings?
So these millings are actually the surface out here on Highway 51, the project that's being rebuilt right now. We milled up the existing asphalt, and all the asphalt that we take up, we recycle.
Really?
We put it back into the mix. Most of the mixes that we're making for the state have recycled asphalt being placed into them.
Really? So it's 100% recyclable. Now, when I'm driving down a highway and I see the old asphalt being ground up into these big piles,
Correct.
that's what I'm looking at?
That's
here?
what you're looking at. Yep, this is the material that's coming off the conveyor belt, off the milling machine, that's been taken up off the road, and it is then reprocessed. So we use it in our asphalt mixes. Most of the mixes that we make have 20 to 25% of this product in the new asphalt that goes back on the roads. Here we're donating the asphalt for the trails, for the veterans to use as a surface to move around their great camp.
Yeah, wow. I never realized that there's that much recycled asphalt in all our new roads. That's great to know. Now, how much of this will be used on this trail system? Terry said that it was about a mile long.
This system will take around 2,000 to 3,000 ton of material. Probably 100, 150 truckloads will be brought in.
And you're donating all that.
And we're
That is
donating the
awesome.
material.
So will this be just the base, or will this actually be compacted into the top coat as well?
This will actually be the top coat as well. The great thing about recycled asphalt is once we get it compacted, the sun will naturally heat it and it will become a nice hard surface again.
How thick will it be on this trail?
6 inches.
Will it last indefinitely?
It'll last indefinitely.
You know, Tom, Terry mentioned how there are several veterans that are working in the apprenticeship program up here. Now, once they enter the workforce, are they part of Matthew Construction?
Oh, they certainly are. Veterans are a big part of our employees that we recruit and go after. We're always glad to have veterans work for us. Veterans make great employees. They've been running the equipment for the military. They have great experience, great work ethic, and they know how to take orders and they know how to lead. So we're really happy when we can get veterans coming to work for us.
Sure. I mean, think about the unfortunate nature of war in general and how the veterans come back, and a lot of them are disabled. This is just such a great service that not only you, but the ops, everybody that's involved in it is doing, and they're going to not have to worry about their mobility through the woods.
No, this is a great project. The camp's a great camp, and the veterans will get a lot of great use out of this trail system.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Keep up the good work, and we'll catch up with you in the future.
Thank you.
Well, Jack, I see an awful lot of these red Peterson trucks moving a lot of the millings in here today.
Yes, we're honored to be here.
Now, your company is in the heavy equipment and hauling business?
We are in the road construction. We do grading, aggregate producing, we crush the gravel, we crush the aggregate for the blacktop, and we do the topsoiling and the laying of the pipe. And
You guys pretty busy?
we're busy now, yes, yeah.
But
We probably have 8 jobs going throughout the state of Wisconsin.
boy, well, how often do you get to work in a setting like this?
This is paradise. It's an honor to be able to furnish these millings for this wonderful project.
Boy, now you're with Peterson Sons.
Yes.
You're one of the Petersons, that's
One of
for
the
sure.
Petersons. I'm 3rd generation. We have 5 generations of Petersons working for us, and we do highway construction throughout the state of Wisconsin.
But on today's show, what we're focusing in on is the great work that's being done here at Camp American Legion, and the military aspect is really near and dear to your heart.
Yes, it is, and we are very proud to be able to help this project. 'Cause I was in the National Guards. My grandson served 2 terms in the Marine Corps in Iraq, so we are honored to be able to help here and build this beautiful project on this beautiful piece of property.
Yeah, what a spectacular setting and a great place to relax, unwind, and just get away from it all. That's for sure.
Yes, and those veterans need it. They need it, and none of us can do enough for those veterans.
Yeah, that's for sure. And when you look at the workforce that's on this project, a lot of them are veterans and a lot of veteran apprenticeships. Now, when they move on, are they going to become a big part of your company?
Oh, we look for veterans because we are part of that mindset, and we need good operators. And most of these people are very talented people. We look for a lot of apprentices from the operators to work for us, yes,
Sure. And it's a
because
bonus if they're
they have
if they're
good training.
military?
Well, if they've been in the military, they know what discipline is. They know a lot of famous traits that are wonderful.
So how many loads are you going to be hauling in here?
Well, I think 100 loads
100 loads.
to get the roads in shape so they can get around.
Well, it's awesome to get a behind-the-scenes look at what goes in. Even though this is a trail system, it's not unlike our state roads and highways.
It's kind of the same construction, a little lighter construction, a little thinner gravel, and this beautiful millings these are like gold.
Yeah.
Thank you, American Asphalt, for donating the milling, and we're honored to be able to haul them in here and help put them in place. It's a pleasure for the Peterson company, and I know all the other companies that are donating all this wonderful equipment and product for this project. Hats off to them.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, shedding a little light on what the Peterson Sons company is all about.
Thank you.
You know, Dale, when I think about therapeutic settings, it doesn't get much better than Camp American Legion up here on the shores of Big Car Lake. And, you know, throughout today's show, we've been walking on the nature trail, learning more about how the operating engineers is assisting in the development of that for our vets. And that's therapeutic to me, walking in the Great North Woods. But then you get out here, and I just can imagine sitting by a campfire, looking across here in the evening, how peaceful it is.
Well, you're right. This is a beautiful setting up here in Lake Tomahawk. We've had this camp since 1925, so veterans have been coming up here from the World War I to the current wars that we have, and a veteran is eligible if he served during wartime period. So that's the American Legion, made up of wartime veterans. And we enjoy coming up here year after year. Some have come here a number of years, not only to fish, but to enjoy the camaraderie and other recreational aspects of what the camp offers.
Is that really what the camp is about, is relaxation, clearing the mind, really rebooting and getting back into society?
Yes, veterans come here if they have physical injuries or mental aspects, or coming back from the current war and trying to reintegrate back into their family. So those younger veterans come here with their families if they can be accommodated, and it truly is a place for rehabilitation.
And as I understand it, it's the only camp in the entire United States that is free of charge for eligible veterans.
For those veterans that are eligible, yes, there are about a dozen other camps throughout the nation, but we are the only camp that does not charge the veteran for their stay here.
Well, it truly is a magnificent setting, a magnificent camp. Now let's shed some light on exactly who the American Legion is.
We have about 60,000 veterans in the state of Wisconsin, and nationwide about 2.1 million veterans. We're the largest veteran organization in the world.
Wow. So it's a very large organization. If I'm a member of the American Legion, if the need is there and they get doctor approval, it's second to none as far as therapeutic value. It's just beautiful up here. Appreciate you coming on today's show and shedding some light not only on this camp, but the American Legion itself.
Well, thank you.
I can't get over how beautiful this setting is, and I keep telling everybody that I'm talking to on today's show, I'm just blown away. How many cabins are here?
Well, we have 22 private cabins on this side of the camp.
Wow.
The main lodge was built in 1932. There are a couple of gazebos and different campfire sites. that veterans and their family members gather around, some of them for formal counseling, peer-led counseling groups, others for more informal, get-togethers and camaraderie.
The history here is phenomenal. I mean, I walked into the mess hall and I got chills, seriously, thinking of all the veterans that have walked into that mess hall.
It's really incredible when you drill into the history of Camp American Legion because it dates from 1925. And when the World War I veterans came back, and our first service officer, James Burns, was the first American Legion State Service Officer, he recognized immediately the need for combat veterans to decompress, to get away from pressure situations. So he sent them to the North Woods to camp back in the early 21, 22, 23, and he urged the leadership of the American Legion. We were founded in 1920. He immediately urged the leadership of our organization to establish a rehabilitation camp somewhere in northern Wisconsin. And the leadership endorsed the idea, and we started searching in 1923, 1924 for an appropriate site. And we found this site in the spring of 1925 and entered into a contract to purchase it. And the American Legion went to the state of Wisconsin, to the state legislature, and impressed upon the state legislature the need for veterans rehabilitation. And you have to remember that after World War I, there wasn't a formally established federal VA, and there was no Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs. The veterans really needed to look out for each other. So we established Camp American Legion in 1925. It has always been free of charge to any honorably discharged Wisconsin veteran with a medically documented need for rest or rehabilitation.
Wow.
And it is the only camp anywhere in the United States that is free of charge to any honorably discharged veteran. So the 22 cabins on this side of the camp, plus we've got a few other private cabins on the other side of the camp for families. One of the really important things we're doing at Camp American Legion right now is family reunification. Because since 9/11 and the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, soldiers from Wisconsin National Guard and from Wisconsin-based reserve units will deploy overseas for 10 months or a year, leaving a spouse and children at home. And when these soldiers come back into this crucible with the home life, they've been used to a very Spartan military existence with other soldiers, and now they've got the spouse, they've got the kids, they've got to go back on the job. There are different types of pressures that affect the family life. And Camp American Legion is the ideal atmosphere for these families to reunify and just reconstitute themselves and renew their relationships. I will tell you that in the military community, there's a higher divorce rate. There is a higher rate of single-parent households, and the recreational facilities here at camp and the opportunities for families to reunify will save marriages and help kids grow up.
Well, it's wonderful that all branches of the armed services are eligible to take advantage of this fine facility. And as we're learning on today's show, this facility is actually expanding and you're making it more accessible with the fine work the operating engineers are doing.
I can't speak enough about the operating engineers, the heavy equipment operators of Local 139. When we worked with the state of Wisconsin, and we are on state-owned land, a lot of people don't realize Camp American Legion is on state-owned land, and we have leased it from the state going all the way back to 1925, but we own and operate the cabins and the facilities themselves. We're a nonprofit organization, so all the money has to be raised internally because we do this at no cost to Wisconsin veterans. We do get a small grant from the state of Wisconsin, but we depend on individual contributions, tax deductible, and we also depend on our corporate partners and good citizens of the state of Wisconsin. And chief among them are the operating engineers. The operating engineers, we became familiar with them because they have two veteran job training programs. One is called Helmets to Hard Hats, and the other is called Combat to Construction. So when we were able to reacquire 225 acres of land from the state of Wisconsin and add it to our camp lease, we reached out to corporate partners across the state, and the operating engineers stepped up to the plate immediately. And I have to tell you, one of the reasons why is a gentleman named Gary Wetzel. And Gary Wetzel served in the U.S. Army in Vietnam. He was a helicopter door gunner, and when the aircraft was shot down, Gary defended the position. He saved crew members' lives at great cost to himself. He lost an arm, And when he came back to Wisconsin, he was able to build a life and a career for himself by being an operating engineer. And so now the nature trail that the operating engineers are building for us as part of their combat to construction and helmet to hard hats apprentice programs is going to be dedicated the Gary G. Wetzel Way. And Wetzel Way, we believe, is going to provide the inspiration for many veterans who come home from Iraq and Afghanistan to go down the Wetzel Way, to resolve to build lives and build careers and build families through the opportunities that are presented here in the state. And we can't thank the operating engineers enough.
Well, it's a wonderful facility. I can hear the gratitude in your voice and everyone that I talk to here. And the feeling is mutual. I talk to the operating engineers. They just think it's wonderful here. The staff here has been so appreciative of what they're doing. And you know, when I talk to the different contractors that are involved, they're like, are you kidding? Of course we're going to do this. You know how good these apprentices, especially the ones with military experience, the veterans, when they come to work, it's exactly what they're looking for. So there's lots of opportunity out there to make a good new life.
That's something that always staggers me is, you know, any company looking to hire somebody who is diligent, hardworking, dedicated, is going to show up to work on time and give their best. Why wouldn't you hire a veteran?
Exactly.
You know?
It's in their blood.
This is in their blood. It's in their training, and you can't find a better employee than a veteran.
Well, Dave, I really appreciate you coming on today's show and shedding some light on what this great facility is all about.
Well, it's been my privilege, Stu.
Well, Terry, again, thank you for having us up here today. It's been awesome, not only seeing how roads and trails are built, but just seeing the team of professionals, the skilled craftsmen that it takes to build a project like this.
I can't tell you how proud I am of everybody up here, Stu. What they're doing, a lot of people talk about helping veterans, putting veterans to work, supporting veteran causes. You know what? We're putting our money where our mouth is. We're up here and we're showing everybody. And this can be a throwdown to everybody. The American Legion is always looking for help, especially here in Wisconsin at this wonderful camp where people can rehabilitate after battle. And Stu, I'm proud of the road builders and contractors in our industry that came to help, the equipment dealers, the equipment manufacturers, Case, Miller Bradford, Matthew, James Peterson Sons, bringing all these people together with our apprentices and our training program.
Well, Terry, I appreciate you coming on today's show and showcasing this magnificent facility that all of Wisconsin can be proud of.
The operating engineers are proud to do it, Stu.
For more information on Building Wisconsin, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And be sure to watch additional episodes on YouTube or at our website, buildingwisconsintv.com. The preceding program was sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.